Hello, everyone. How are you? Welcome to Just In. I am your host, Adriana Lamar, here with Sammy Wells and Tommy Scott. It's been a few weeks since we've been able to join you folks, but here we are again, ready to hit real deep into this upcoming football season here for today's show. So we'll be right back, but while you're waiting, please hit that like and subscribe button. All right, welcome back. Okay, let's jump right into week one football, guys. Lots of games this week. We can start with the game on the 8th, Bills at the Rams. Sam, any thoughts?
It's going to be a good game. If Matthew Stafford is ready to go and not injured, I think the Rams are going to take this thing. I'm going to give the Super Bowl chance to beat the Buffalo, even though they got Von Miller on the other side of the defense. I still think Buffalo is a going to be a very competitive team this year. I mean, their quarterback, their offense, everybody is in sync. The defense, I mean, adding Von Miller, you cannot go bad. So we're going to see how the Buffalo is going to be able to handle the Super Bowl champ Rams. But I'll pick Rams on this one.
Tommy?
Yeah, I think. I mean, this was a tough one, right? Because as Sam alluded to, especially if Stafford is healthy and the Rams are coming in ready to go, they're going to be a tough one to beat. But I think on this one, I'm going to take the Bills. And I think the reason being is, at least in the recent history, I think I think the Bills are. I think the Bills are one of the best teams in the NFL. They just happen to be in a position where they've got to play against some of the other best teams in the NFL to try and to get further along in the playoffs. And the controversies, or not controversies, but the discussion over the past couple of years of overtime rules and things like that, where you're kind of limiting, some of the power of a team in those situations. But I think this is kind of one of those years where when you come into this, right, this game means more to Buffalo than it does to LA. It's the Rams have won. They won the Super Bowl. Stafford's got his Super Bowl. Obviously, the talent and everything, the desire is going to be there. But for the Bills, they're still looking for that. They know they have the tools. They know that they just have to get in there and get it done. And so I think the Bills coming in basically with that hunger and without the Super Bowl win hangover aspects of it, I think I think it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be a close game. I don't think anybody's blowing anybody out, but I think in the end of this one, I think the Bills win. At least that's what I want to see, anyways. Does that count?
Yes.
So
I thought you were picking them because I picked the Rams. So, I mean.
no, it's like I like the Rams, especially like I said, I was elated that Stafford, got there, and that Stafford, was able to win, and especially win the way that he did, showing up and just getting it done. Because I thought that, as we talked about last year, I just thought that the exit from Detroit was, a good thing for him. But just the way that it was handled and everything, I just didn't care for that. And as people found out the truth, where it's like, it wasn't Stafford. It had never been Stafford. That was the reason for Detroit's woes. And I'm like, everybody that couldn't see that, I was just, Stafford's a good quarterback, and he made the best of a situation that was rough for a long period of time. And when all of that changed and getting sent down to LA, it's always that question of if he still had the ability, that's what's left in the tank, and get down there and it's like there's plenty left in the tank. So I like him, but like I said, the Bills just come into this with this game means more to Buffalo than it does to LA.
All right, so let's move on to Eagles v. Lions. Tommy, why don't you go first?
Eagles. Who are the Lions against? The Lions,
Leon.
Leonze. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to pick the Lions ever for any reason. But no, I think the Eagles go in there and I think they win. I mean, the Eagles have some growing to do, obviously, and that's how football works. But yeah, it's the Lions.
I'm
I
sure
mean,
Sam would
I know
love to
I know that
say
Sam
Lions.
wants the Eagles to
Yeah,
lose because
yeah.
they're in his division, but I think asking the Lions to beat the Eagles is a tall order, Sam. I think that's just especially and it's week one. It's only one game. I think on this one, Sam, you might just have to like say, you know what? As much as I don't want it, nah. I mean, how much faith can you really put into the Lions?
You know what? I'm going to pick the Lions on this.
Surprise, surprise.
Who'd have thunk it?
Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I cannot pick the Eagles. You know what? Their, their team just sucks. Their fans suck. Whatever. I don't care. You know what? I hope the Lions blow them out. I hope this is their first win out of the whole 17 games. If they lose 17 games and beat the Eagles, I will be fine with that. But no, but I'm gonna give the Lions a chance because I think last year the Lions actually played very well, and they played very well against teams, and they were in the game all the way towards the fourth quarter, and you know, so you're going to get a good matchup with them, especially early in the season. Um, Now, granted, the Eagles on paper they have the better players, they have the better offense, they have the better defense. But the only question mark about their team is their quarterback. I mean, can Hurts have a better completion of passing the ball than him running the ball? Can he get to his receivers? That's the
Well,
biggest question.
I,
He has all
I,
the
I think
weapons.
I think that is a question, but I mean if we look at last year, right, where the struggles came from and all that, they when he was playing, shall we say, more, I don't know if you can call it elite, but those top tier defenses in the NFL, he struggled, right? Right. That's where his big struggles came from because that he had to pick up the reads, the speed, the whole nine, and the Lions don't have one of those. So forcing him in because I didn't see a whole lot with Hurts that he not willingly, but just he walked into the mistakes. He was usually led into them by being confused with coverages, things like that, situational. And I think that's gonna be issues. I don't think the Lions are gonna be able to put him in that situation to confuse him like that. And if he's not confused, yeah, hey, whether he throws the ball, runs the ball, it doesn't matter. If he's not confused, he's just gonna, he's gonna souffle them. He's going to cut them up like a hibachi chef and just do the little, the flipping in the air and the egg roll, all that stuff.
You gonna sing while he's doing it too?
He's gonna he's even gonna do the little, the fire, the train, choo 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 choo, that one, the steam engine.
He didn't struggle as much, but he still struggled in most of the games that he played when it came to completing passes. So he is going to be the nominator as far as for the Eagles offense, and as far he's going to take them as far as he can. Everything is depending on him. It's on his shoulders. And I just don't think, looking at it, because for the first three quarters of the game, teams were dominating the Eagles. Then it comes to fourth quarter when the defense lay back. Oh, now they can pass. Now they can do offense. Now they can do this. So everything is going to be dependent on Hurts. So
It is,
I
but
give
it's another year, chance to learn, chance to grow, and Detroit's not coming in with that level of defense. And great, yeah, if he struggles, he struggles, right? And that's going to be the trick. But year over year, your quarterbacks tend to get better. The investment tends to stay there, where it's things just get better and they improve. But the year over year, they get their investment in Hurts. He's going to improve. That's their hope. That's everybody's hope. That's his hope. He's going to improve. This year's going to be better than last year. If not, then he just won't be there anymore or for very much longer, right? But he's going to see that he's going to learn from what he experienced last year. He's going to be in a better situation because he's not. This year's less thrown into the fire, right? This is more like, yeah, you took your lumps, you got through it. Now we're going to keep progressing, keep improving. Uh, and like I said, he's coming in week one. He's playing the defense of the Lions, which isn't going to be, he's not playing, one of those top tier defenses. So the game should be there, should come to him a little bit slower. And so if he's had, literally, if he's had any improvement from last year, I think he has an easier time with it. It's not an easy time, just easier than in the past. And I don't think we have to wait for the fourth quarter to see, that come to life. I think that's going to kind of be there throughout the game. So like I said, I still pick the Eagles because I just don't see the Lions being able to confuse them that way. Because you're going to move into a spot where defenses are going to have to work hard to get him inside his head and get him confused. You get him if they can do that, then yeah, he'll have his struggles. But I just don't see the Lions being able to do that consistently.
Just so you guys know, I am tracking your responses here. So in our next episode, we're going to count how many either of you got right and compare your records to each other so that going forward, we know who the master is. So anyway, moving on. 49ers. See my shirt here. Versus the Bears. Sam, I'm going to let you go first.
This is going to be a very complicated pick because you have two young quarterbacks that are starting for their franchises, and with Trey Lance and then Justin Fields. So it's really, to me, it's going to be a toss-up. I give the edge to the 49ers, the Winers, because of their coach. Their coach, they have a great coach, and I feel that their offense is going to be a lot better than what the Bears have to give. And plus, San Francisco defense, just is unbelievable, better than, I think for the Chicago Bears offense. And Justin Fields is in trouble. He is. As much as I hate the Winers, I have to give it to them. They're going to win this game.
Tommy?
As much as I'd love to see a Colin Kaepernick style emergence from Trey Lance, I just don't think. I don't think it's like I don't think they're backsliding right from Jimmy at this point, but I don't expect to see that Colin Kaepernick. Oh my God, where did this guy come from? Experience for the Niners on offense. That being said, I think their offense is definitely better than it was at the beginning of last year, and their defense is absolutely better than it was at the end of last year. So, as Sam said, yeah, this is going to be one of those ones where, yeah, the offenses are there and they've got their young quarterback, blah, blah, blah. And I expect to see San Francisco's defense just basically make everything else a non-issue. It's a defense that unless they come out and have a terrible, terrible game, the Bears just won't have an answer for it. They're only, it's like their only hope will be that Trey Lance fumbles the ball 12 times and throws several interceptions, and their defense can score a whole bunch. But I just see the Niners defense kind of, taking anything that would make this a game away from the Bears. So,
all right. Steelers at Bengals. Tommy?
Bengals. Steelers are
simple.
Steelers are, they got way more questions than they have answers. The Bengals are coming back off of a year that, it ended disappointingly, but they still got the tools in place. And so I see the only wild card on this one being is the Super Bowl loss hangover scenario where, hey, if that doesn't happen, and even if it does, the Steelers right now is just kind of I don't know. They're just on the weak side of the team because they're still trying to build out what Roethlisberger is no longer the Steelers. You know what I mean? And he hasn't been for a couple of years, obviously, because it's the age and talent, all that stuff drops off. But now it's absolutely not. So what do things look like from here going forward? I think the Steelers are still going to be answering that question at the end of the game. So Bengals.
Sam?
I'm going to go for the underdog. I'm going to go with Steelers because I'm going to go with Mike Tomlin. I mean, he's a great coach, a very great coach. And they also still have Harris back there to run the ball. So, you know, I think that the Steelers are going to run the ball. I understand they got a young quarterback, but I feel that until they find out what their quarterback can do, they're going to run the ball and play Steeler defense.
All right, Sam, Patriots at Dolphins.
Now,
Hmm.
this is a hard one
He measures his
because
words carefully.
this is a hard one because you got to look at what Miami has done. All of a sudden, like I have never seen Miami do so many transactions off season, you know, to try to improve their roster. I'm guessing there was a wait a minute, wasn't there a lawsuit saying they were tanking? And then there was some findings that suggested that they were tanking, but okay. But anyway, they did improve their roster this season, but and I also have to look at that the Patriots, Bill Belichick and going in with his second year quarterback, I think Mac Jones is going to be scary. I really do. I mean, I think that since that blowout that they did in the playoffs last year, I think Mac Jones is just going to get better and for Belichick to have a second year quarterback at his disposal to do, I just think that's going to be scary. But I also have to look at the off Miami because they did get Hill. They did improve their offense a little bit. They did improve their defense was always solid. So I'm going to go with the Patriots, and I know our cousin is going to be happy that I'm going with the Patriots.
Tommy?
Yeah, I think Miami did do a lot. I think Miami's going to be a better team this year than they were last year. But given the success that the Patriots had, with Mac Jones last year, and this is, as Sam said, this is year two with Jones Belichick. I'm like, yeah, this I don't I see I have to go with the Patriots because I just think that second year factor of like we know each other, we've learned all that, we're building on all of that from last year, and so now we're going to start opening it up even more and doing more stuff. And I think that's going to be a tough order for even though keep in mind we know that Miami has the new weapons with Hill and all that is there, talent's there, the abilities there, they've got everything they need.
They've been there for 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I think this comes down to just that, where it's like, the Patriots have everything they need, and it's been there for, this is year two, right? And so I think it's the year two versus the beginning of year one stuff that's going to make the biggest difference. So Patriots,
All right. Tommy, Browns v. Panthers.
Panthers all the way. The Browns. I'm still trying to figure out, all of that one because I see the Browns and like with Mayfield ending up being something like the Lions and Stafford, where it's like, it's like you're asking the world from basically the best player that you've had in a very long time, um, and frustrating the hell out of him with that. And so you send him away, bring in, you bring in a replacement for him, then you send him away, then your replacement suspended, and you're kind of left in this where, what do they do, right? Because now it's not even a matter of, it's really not like the Mayfield storyline behind this is really irrelevant because like the Browns are missing a huge part of their team, right? It's like they put a lot of effort into, or a lot of resources into getting Deshaun Watson. He's suspended. It's like there's just, I just that storyline is just null and void. I mean, it's still interesting, right? But the Browns really are coming in there with very very handicapped, and I think if the Browns, let's put it this way, if the Browns were able to pull this off in Carolina, it says way more about the Panthers than it says about the Browns, right? And I just think the Panthers, I think getting Mayfield down there is improved their team. So I say Panthers. I know the big talk is going to be the Mayfield, right, all that, but with the Browns coming in handicapped, it's irrelevant.
All right, Sam.
I'm gonna go with the Browns, only because I think this defense knows Baker, know his tendencies. They know exactly as far as um, how he's going to play. They may not know the plays or anything else, but they know how he plays. But I think that the defense is going to get after Baker, especially after um, the comment that he made earlier this week. Is he going to F them up? And that's just you know you know materials that they can put on the wall for the Browns to be like, hey, he said he's going to come out here and F you guys up. What are you going to do about it? And I just think Myles Garrett is going to have a field day.
Yeah, you always go after this
Well,
spiritual, like, revenge connection thing.
well, there is there, but you forget something, Sam. It's always there's some things cut both ways, right? You're like, oh, the defense knows Mayfield, right? Why?
Mhm.
Well, because they played together, right? Well, they played together, right?
Mhm.
So who does Mayfield know?
True.
He knows the defense, right? And
True.
so who's to say that him saying, we're gonna F him up, isn't him going like, look, every time you
Get
rib
all
these
these
guys
guys
up, they
nuts.
get excited and start doing dumb stuff. Watch this, and they start playing the little Browns guitar, like the little no the what was that the piper guy that played the flute and controlled the animals, to start doing that. I mean, the thing's cut both ways, but even then, some of that is just a matter of like, yeah, you're playing football. Whoever the other team is, like that's kind of the goal, right? That's, but we'll see. It's one of those, even with the defense, if the defense, yeah, okay, if the Browns defense come in there and they're like, yeah, we're going to stop Mayfield, okay, at the end of the game, they're going to be like, yeah, we stopped him. Unfortunately, the rest of the Panthers offense had a field day, and we gave up 73,000 yards on the ground, but we stopped Mayfield. He didn't do anything. We beat him up, and they just
We
kept
could
handing
totally
off the
read that
ball, though.
guy.
We probably should have paid attention to some of those other guys there's 10 other guys. I mean, we should have done something about them, but we'll see. I mean,
Um,
like I said, it's you gotta play it. I just don't see that. I mean, the Browns are coming in with half a team. Hard to
can we
win with half a team.
can we really depend on Baker after the year that he had last year? I mean, I'm still not convinced that just like Jalen Hurts, I'm still not convinced on Baker. So Baker's have to prove himself. I feel that the Browns defense is intact so that they can be able to win this game. And I think I think it's going to come down to defense for this game.
All right, let's jump to Colts at Texans. Sam.
Uh,
If there was ever a game in which you were like, I need to
I'm
go,
gonna say
I need to go
Colts.
run to the store and pick up some ice. Like, this is the one.
I'm gonna be Colts. I'm going to go Colts. Colts are a way better team. Colts are gonna be a way better team. I just was hoping for the Texans. I was hoping for the Texans coach that they win this game because you know how the Texans are in head coaches now. But I have to go with Colts because they're just a way better team, and it's just they got an experienced quarterback back there that's going to, um, I think, is going to help them achieve their goal.
Tommy?
I agree. I mean, it's not hard to kind of have a better team than what the Texans have, and it's just right now with the Texans. I don't know. With the Texans organization in general, it's kind of like, yeah. No, you guys have some way bigger issues than specifically the players on the field to overcome. Because hey, if you want to make, you throw out those comments, it's like you can't have the prisons run or the inmates run the prison. It's like, hey, you got a whole bunch of players that are basically playing because you keep writing the checks. They're playing for money, and I ain't mad at them, but that's not how team sports go. Um, and they'll keep playing. They'll keep playing for their own glory. They'll keep paying for the money, but at the end of the day, I don't know. Yeah, at the end of the day, that organization,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, dude, you're trying to run a business um, like it's 1964. And A, while it is a business, it's not really a business. And then B, it's 2022. And yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I'll
Colts all the
say,
way. I hope the Colts win like 137 to nothing.
yeah, I hope I would say this. I hope they don't fire Lovie Smith for 1 year like they did the other coach.
Hey, they probably will. That's that whole like the refs do that makeup call.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not all together like that, but it's just one of them organizations that's just like, dude, you guys, this is, yeah, it's just not how things work out very well in the end.
All right. So Tommy, Saints at Falcons.
Saints and Falcons. That's a tough one. I'm gonna go with the Saints just because I'm really still kind of not sold on Mariota being out there as a starter. Um, did fantastic things in college and all that, but it just really didn't translate very well over into the professional ranks. That being told, different team, different coach, all that stuff comes out. Maybe it's different, but I just think that in the overall grand rebuilding process, the Saints are further along than the Falcons are. So I think the Saints win.
All right, Sam.
Yeah, definitely the Saints. Definitely the Saints. The only way that the Falcons win is if Jameis Winston goes back to being Offensive Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year.
All right, Sam. Ravens at Jets.
Oh, there's nothing to say. Ravens all day. I mean, let's be honest. Let's be, let's be honest. The Jets don't really have anybody. All right, let's get that down. And who's gonna stop Lamar? The only way the Jets win is if Lamar is not playing. Okay, this game is over. It's gonna
Mm-hmm.
probably be over
It's
by
like
the
the Jets
half.
won. The Ravens bus was hit by another bus on the way to the game, and the rest of the team all got the stomach flu.
The
So the
janitor
Jets
stayed
won
out and
by
played.
3. Yeah. I agree. I would have to fully concur with my colleague on this one.
All right. Tell me Jaguars at Commanders. Washington.
Talk about another one of those like I don't know. Commanders. Let's go with the Commanders. We'll go with the home team on this one. I don't know why. I don't. You know, these are both ones that are like. There's just a lot to kind of piece together and to figure out and hope for better success, but yeah,
I mean,
all right, we'll see. Yeah, this is one of those like even with the preseason, you're kind of watching. You're like, I'm trying to find something nice to say, but it's not. And don't get me wrong, it's not, they're both in that spot of just learn, grow. It's like what is that? It's they've got to. They're still pulling themselves together and deciding what their identity is going to be. So it's a little bit easier when one team is further along than that, but they still seem to be in the forming stage of figuring themselves out.
Sam?
Well, of course, I'm going to go with the Jaguars because I just think that what Carson Wentz are we going to see? I mean, what Carson Wentz are we going to see? I mean, because this guy been traded from Eagles, traded to was on the Eagles, traded to the Colts, then traded to the Washington Redskins after 1
We
year.
look at that, and that's the thing, right? Right when you talk about like not to knock it down, right? Wentz is Wentz, but I think Wentz ain't. Let's put it this way: something there, and people laughed at me when we talked about this last year before, where I was like, Wentz just, I don't have the faith in Wentz like a lot of other folks do, right? And so he goes in, he's with the Colts, and at least from what we see, they did a pretty decent job, right? Last year he did a pretty decent job, so it was like, oh, I found some success, I got into a rhythm, and yeah, he had some stumbles and all that, but that's going to happen. And then they got rid of him after a year. And it was a year where it was like, well, it's kind of the best year you guys have had in a minute. And you still got rid of him. So I'm like, what exactly is it that they saw? But, we'll see. I mean, yeah, which one shows up? But I still think this one just comes down to the whole like, we didn't have to travel as far when we woke up this morning. So we played better.
Okay, so last year, the Colts could have made it to the playoffs. They only had to beat the Jaguars to get into play, and everybody was like, "Oh, don't worry, they're going to beat the Colts." All the odd makers, they was like, "Oh, the Colts are going to win. Oh, don't worry about it." And then Jaguars happened. And that's the reason I stated I don't know what Wentz is going to be at the game.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm getting the last game playing against the Jaguar Wentz, I'm going to give it to the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, I don't like the Washington Commanders. The Commanders. What kind of name is that? Commanders.
Yeah. Trying to PCify Redskins.
Well, it's better than that. I say it's better than that. Yeah, the Commanders is way better than that name. So.
All right, so Sam, Packers at Vikings.
Good game. I'm going to go with the Vikings. I think Cousins is more familiarized with his offense, and hopefully the good Kirk Cousins shows up. And even if the good Kirk Cousins doesn't show up, I don't think that the Packers are going to win because, you have this guy named Aaron Rodgers that just likes to, talk bad about his receivers, how they're not there as far as the throws and talk about his receivers, which your receivers make you, and you're talking about them, and then you have a team meeting, and you still are adamant about blowing them off in the media like that, and it's just like I don't know. I think I don't I think because of the ego of the um, Packers quarterback, they're not going to win this game. So,
All right, Tommy?
No, I think that's the wild card is really, because normally when it comes to the Packers and the Vikings, I'm always going to kind of, lean towards the Packers on this, but that stuff, as Sam talked about, the kind of off the field, I guess, pseudo off the field stuff, right?
yes, yeah,
Um, it's kind of one of those like, well, where's this one going to end up? Because yeah, it's like Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers and good quarterback, but the ego and the attitude is, how does that translate over into the locker room? Because if you're having team meetings where for your team to talk to you about it and kind of say, hey, dude, we're not digging this, right? It's one thing to come off and present certain things in a way where that you know, that you're saying it in ways that for your teammates, it's how they quote unquote need to hear it, want to hear it. It motivates them, uplifts them, inspires them. But if that's
Supportive.
not the case, yeah, if they're not interpreting it that way, then you need to find, a different way of doing that, a different way of delivering the message. And each player is going to be different in how they do that. But from the outside looking in, it just doesn't really look like they're talking the same language right now, right? And I think that one is going to be a bigger impact than I think people think in other spots. And I was kind of looking at that in the sense that typically speaking, over in the Aaron Rodgers years, right? There's always been that somewhat that struggle up front and then pick up on the back, and so that's why I kind of on this one was like, yeah, I'm gonna lean towards. I'm gonna go on the Viking side for this one, because it is earlier in the season, and because of those things, it seems like this will be one of the Packers, um, in division struggle games. The whole wake up and do all that they need to go through every year. I think this is going to be one of those. So we'll go with the Vikings.
All right, Tommy. Giants at Titans.
Titans. I think I think Titans getting the team back. Um, with Henry being on the rebounds and all that, I think they come in there, and I still think the Giants have more holes in their team than they have fills for it. So that's pretty much I see this one as just being the Titans game. I just don't know. I don't know what the Giants are bringing to the table. Potato salad
Sam?
with raisins in it.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not. No one ever gets potato salad right.
With raisins.
I have to agree with Tommy. I'm gonna have to go with the Titans. I think the Giants are not a very good team. That's positive for my Dallas Cowboys. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Titans.
All right, Sam. Raiders at Chargers.
Oh man, I have to go with the Raiders. I just think that Devontae Adams and Carr, that is just going to. I think they might put a 50 piece on the Chargers. I think so. I think they might put a 50. That's how good I think the connection is between Carr and Devontae Adams. I think it's going to be that way. I don't think the Chargers have anybody that can be able to guard him. So yeah, that's my pick.
Tommy?
Um, I'm gonna go with the Chargers just because of the long-standing history of Raiders letdowns that we've gone through, where it's just like this, where well they've got a connection, they've got all this, and it's like okay. So I'm
They
gonna
had
go
a
with the
fight last
Chargers,
night,
but
so
yeah, I'm going Chargers mostly because the Raiders are gonna have to prove it first this time. So yeah, that's why.
all right,
I mean,
Tommy,
I
Chiefs
want
at
the Raiders to
Cardinals.
win, and so if the Raiders get out there and do it, it's great. But no. So
Don't
you
want to
said
be
what?
disappointed.
Chiefs and Cardinals.
Hmm.
Chiefs. I just with the off-season drama in Arizona with Murray, and then just the fact that I don't see I see Kyle Murray in a situation where he's the best that the Cardinals could get. In this, like even just in the grand scheme of things. Not that he's bad, not that he's terrible. I don't think he's the end all be all. I definitely don't think he's on the same level as like Josh Allen and Mahomes and the rest of the crew on there. And he's not there, right? And I think their defense will play well, but I think the Chiefs just go in there and use their more experience levelness to this, especially being week one. And I think the Chiefs go in there and they win.
Sam?
I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. I think I think that Arizona has learned from their mistakes. I think that Colin Murray has been his um, studying his playbook as the organization wanted him to do in the contract when they first signed it, but then they took it away, and that he's not playing video games and letting the tablet run as if he was paying attention to the tablet or doing the preparation. But no, I'm gonna go with Kyler Murray. I think Arizona is going to win this game. I say they win by 7.
All right. Sam, Buccaneers at Cowboys.
Let me think.
Buccaneers all the way,
Yeah.
clearly. It's going to be
Clearly, yes, clearly.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Who's going to win this game? My Dallas Cowboys. My Dallas Cowboys.
Do
And
they
it's
know that
going
they're
to
yours,
be
or is that
Has
yet to
has Jones been
disclose?
made aware? Or?
Yeah.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has.
Oh.
Now, my Cowboys are going to win this game because of my defense. Okay. My defense is Dan Quinn is going to put a game plan together. And I have been saying this since last
You're
year.
in love with Dan Quinn.
Everything is going to depend on Dan Quinn and the defense. I said it last year. I'm going to say it this year. We're going to go in. They're going to beat the Bucks, and it's only going to put sugar on top if my offense can produce.
That's a lot of $1
over
million for
21
just a little
points.
sprinkling of sugar on top.
Produced over 21 points. If my offense can produce 21 points, and my defense, I know my defense are going to get a bunch of takeaways because they were number one last year. So we're going to rough Tom Brady up and we're going to win the game.
Leave that old man alone.
And then we're going to have the same bandwagon fans that are going to try to be Cowboy fans.
Tommy?
I don't know about the rest of it, but no, I think Cowboys win this one. And it's just looking at the kind of weird stuff in Tampa, and especially I don't know, historically the retired unretirement thing hasn't panned out well for too many folks. And I think not that I think that the Buccaneers are going to be a bad team. I just think that the Cowboys, especially week one, are just going to be better.
Plus, it can't help the Buccaneers that Giselle's laser focus is going to be on the back of Tom's head, so he's going to be a little distracted there.
Yeah, especially with those rumors coming out, or where they're at with that. It's kind of like be interesting to see how and where the focus dives into there. So, but like I said, not that I don't think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be a bad team. I just don't think that they're going to be a better team than the Cowboys especially week one. I mean, if they're going to end the season better than the Cowboys, it's something that they're going to build up to throughout the season. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right,
Well,
last one, Tommy. Oh, go ahead, Sam.
I would just say that Buccaneers have 3 new starters on their offensive line. So their offensive line is compromised against my experienced defense. So I think it's going to be another, going to be Buccaneers and Chiefs, where the Chiefs did not they had about 4 inexperienced offensive linemen, and that experienced defense came after them. I think it's going to be the same thing with this Bucs and Cowboys game, because my experienced defense is going to get through that offensive line.
All right, and last one, we got Sam, or I'll head it over to you first, Tommy. Broncos at Seahawks.
Yeah, we're gonna go with the Broncos.
I'm excited. I mean, I'm not a Broncos fan, but I live in Denver, so how can I not be excited for this year?
Yeah, and it's just kind of funny, it's like the whole what do you do when your Seahawks are playing at home, and so is the Broncos starting quarterback is also playing at home. It just seems unfair, but it's not. That the whole situation is like, and and I get it. The Seahawks are in a spot where it's time for them to grow and see what they need to do, and the face is changing. They can't really. They were in a spot where they continue to build the team around Wilson, money wise and everything else. So they had to rebuild. But Russell Wilson is one of, he's his quarterbacks wherever he goes, they just got better. And the Broncos are coming in with that, and the Seahawks are putting a lot of word faith behind what they have, but it's just the results have yet to manifest themselves in real life. So they just kind of seems like they have a big glaring hole in one of the most important positions on the field. And whether or not they had plans for, what they were referring to, and they were waiting until he gets released and pick him up, if they were hoping to run in there and, pick up Jimmy, or things like that, and that didn't work out. They still just, it's a big question mark there. But yeah, I don't. This would be one of those, like, the only way the Seahawks manage to win this one is if magically, the Legion of Boom reappears on the defensive side of the ball, and they can just completely stymie the Broncos offense. But I just don't see that happening. So Broncos.
Yeah.
I have to agree with Tommy. Broncos are going to win this game. It's not even. I have no faith in Geno Smith. So, it's it's done. It's not even a game. It's really not even a game.
All right, so that brings us to the end of week one. I will tell you guys you have a 56% agreement rate. So good job there. And we will revisit these predictions in our next episode. So let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about some more football.